What's up y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be creating 5 summer inspired eyeshadow looks. I will be using palettes that were actually featured in my eyeshadow palettes perfect for summer video. If you missed it, it will be linked down below in the description box, as well as the palettes that I used today and everything else that I use on my face. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything that I use in my videos, always check that description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can down into that tiny little box. But pulling out those palettes for that video really inspired me to kind of play with them and create, so I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to give you a little summer inspiration while showing these palettes some love. So we're gonna go ahead and kick things off with the Blend Bunny Lure palette, and then I'm gonna show you the 4 other looks that I created before closing out this video. Alright y'all, let's go ahead and get this party started. So for this first look with the Lure palette, I want to create a look using like these seafoam greens and these purples right here. So that's what I'm going to stick to. I'm going to start with this shade right here, which is called Lost at Sea. My eyes are already primed with my MAC Paint Pot. It's the primer that I will be using throughout this entire video. So if I forget to tell you, that's what I'm using, plus it will be down in the description box. But I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade up with a Singe Beauty EO3 brush, and I'm just going to fluff this into my crease, starting off this look, giving me a little bit of shape and definition. And I'm also going to bring this shade all the way over into my inner corner as well. Okay, so with a Singe Beauty EO5, I'm going to go into this shade right here, which is called Sea Nymph. And I'm going to start to build up that outer corner just a tad. I'm going to build up the depth of that entire row straight down. So if you get lost, that's where I will be. And then lastly, with that same brush, I'm going to pick up the shade called 332 meters, which is that deepest seafoam green shade, and I'm just going to build up the rest of my outer corner, giving a little bit of depth and drama. Alright, we're going to move down to the lower lash line. So I'm going to do a combination of these 2 shades right here. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to kind of tight line just a little bit, and then I'm going to fluff it out with this shade. So that's going to be Seductress and Jellyfish. So starting with the shade Seductress, I'm going to pick that up with a Singe Beauty EO4 brush and just kind of very tightly put this along my lower lash line. So with a Singe Beauty EO2 brush, I'm going to pick up that lighter purple shade called Jellyfish, and I'm just going to go right along the line of that first shade that I put down, just to kind of disperse it, soften the edge, and give me a nice gradient. Alright, let's do some shimmer on the lid. My eyes are primed with my NYX glitter primer. I will be using this in every single look as well. But I'm going to take this shade right here, which is called Pearl. It is this absolutely beautiful multi-chrome. It's the only multi-chrome in this palette. I'm going to put that all over my lid. And then I think I'm going to take this one right here, which is called In a Bottle, and probably put that on my outer corner where the matte and the shimmer meet. And then for the inner corner, I haven't decided yet. So let's go ahead and start there with the shade Pearl. Oh, so pretty. I love this shade. Alright, so I went ahead and picked up In a Bottle on my finger. I'm going to put it right out here. And I think I decided I'm going to go ahead and leave my inner corner matte and just kind of finish up this look where it is. Alright y'all, so there we have it, our first completed look. What do we think? I love it. I think it is so much fun. I love that multi-chrome. Blend Bunny is such a good brand. Their mattes are amazing. Their shimmer formula just gets better and better. But to finish up this look, I did go in with one of the Odin's Eye, what is this? These Solmane gel liners in my lower waterline. This is the shade 008. And for my lid, I went in with an Urban Decay 24/7 Inks liquid liner in the shade 0. And then my Maybelline Firework waterproof mascara. Why can't I ever remember that? It is really hard to say, and I don't know why, but I love the way it's turned out. But I'm excited for the other 4 looks to show you, so let's go ahead and jump into those. Alright y'all, let's play with the Sun and the Sea palette from Bella Beauty Bar. This one released last summer, and it's actually a remastered version of a palette that they had a while back. So they kind of redid it. I don't know what the original one looked like, but they redid it, re-released it, and this is what we got. We're going to go ahead and create a look that's a little bit more on the neutral side with that pop of color. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with just some of these neutral shades in my crease, and then I think I really want to put this maybe on my lower lash line. I don't think I want to bring it into my inner corner, but definitely on my lower lash line. And I want to put this shade all over my lid. So I've already primed my eyes. I am going to go ahead and start with this shade right here called Tan Lines. This is just a really pretty, just neutral eyeshadow. It's a little bit deeper than my skin tone, and it's going to give us a good transition shade to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade up with a Game Beauty EO6 brush, and I'm just going to fluff this into my crease, building up a nice transition and some shape. Now obviously, if you have a deeper skin tone than me, this may not be a good option to start out with. So try and kind of use something that's a little bit more, you know, closer to your skin tone. You can mix and match colors as well. Don't be afraid to experiment. Okay, so next, taking the same brush, I'm going to kind of pick up this shade that we just used called Tan Lines, and I'm going to dip into this shade right here just a little bit. This one is called Sunbathe, so I'm going to kind of mix the two of them together. So I have something a little darker than the first shade that I put on, but just a little bit lighter than like a true mid-tone, and I'm just going to pop this into my crease, keeping it a little bit lower than that first shade that I put down, building up some depth and definition. Alright, so you could definitely leave this here, but you know me, I like my depth and definition into my outer corner. So what I want to do next is I want to go in with this shade right here, which is called Beach Babe. It's just a little bit darker than this one, and I'm going to put that into my outer corner. So I'm going to pick the shade up with a Sigma Beauty an E33 brush, and I'm just going to put that right out here in my outer corner, building up that depth and definition. Like I said, you can absolutely skip this and just move on to a shimmer shade all over your eye, but this is how I like to do my makeup. I'm going to take that same shade right out here, just the very corner of it, onto my lower lash line. I'm not going to take it all the way over or very far. I just want to make sure that everything connects. For my lower lash line, I want to add a pop of color. So I'm going to pick up this shade right here, which is called Caribbean, and I'm going to put that right along my lower lash line, kind of smoking it out a little bit. And for that, I'm going to go in with an Unearthly Cosmetics UC8-5 brush. So I'm just going to pick that up and, like I said, smoke this along my lower lash line, giving a really pretty pop of color. Let's pop some shimmer on these lids. I've already gone ahead and primed my eye with my NYX glitter primer. I want to play with this shade right here, which is called Siren. This is absolutely gorgeous. Like, look at that beautiful, shifty, almost like an iridescent shade. It definitely has a transparent base to it, but I want to put this all over my lid, and maybe we'll do something else in the inner corner. So I'm just going to pick it up with my finger and pop that all over and give me just a beautiful shine reflect to the lid. And for the inner corner, we're going to go in with this shade right here. It is called Sunkissed. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I am going to spray it, and I'm just going to pop this into my inner corner. You can absolutely go in with a highlighter. You can go in with something a little more matte. You don't have to go in with a shifty shade. You can make all these looks your own, but I love a pop of color. I love a beautiful shiny inner corner, and that is beautiful. Oh, I really love this look. And there we have our completed look with the Sun and the Sea palette. I love the way this turned out. I really do love a good neutral look with just a pop of color. The shimmers in this palette are absolutely stunning, and that is what keeps me coming back to Bella Beauty Bar over and over. They really know how to do a beautiful, stunning shimmer shade that is smooth, it's shifty, it doesn't accentuate texture, they don't crease, and it's part of the reason that I love this palette. Despite its neutrality, despite how many overlapping shades there are in it, you cannot deny how beautiful that shade is on the lid. But to finish off this look, I did go in with a Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner in my lower waterline, but I did not go in with the shade Cinnamon. This time I went in with Gold Lame, and I really like that little pop of gold that I added down there. And for my lid, I went ahead and lined with my Glam Light Calligrapher liner, and then for mascara, I have my Maybelline Firework Waterproof Mascara. But let's go ahead and move on to our next palette. Okay, y'all, so next we're going to play with the Delicious Delights palette. This one is from Cosmic Beauty, formerly known as Cosmic Brushes. It came out last summer, and this one is a colorful dream. It is absolutely gorgeous. We have pastels in here, we have bright midtones, we have some deepening up shades. Again, the shimmers in here are absolutely beautiful, and I love that this is a more affordable UK indie brand. But I think for this look, I really want to play with like these pinks and these greens. As much as I love this purple row right here, you know I do, I want to play with the pink. So I'm going to start out with this shade right here, which is called Marshmallow. And I'm just going to pick that up with a Game Beauty EO6 brush. So just a big fluffy brush. And I'm going to start to fluff this into my crease. Beautiful. Absolutely love it. So for my outer corner, I'm just taking a Game Beauty EO2 brush, and I went into that hot pink shade called Smoothie, and I'm just building it up out here, giving me a little bit more shape and brightness in this outer corner. Okay, so I'm just going back with that first brush that I used, no extra product, but I'm just going to go right along the edges of that hot pink shade just to make sure that everything is nice and kind of dispersed, it's softened, we don't have any harsh lines. Okay, so I think I want to deepen up this outer corner just a smidgen more. So I'm going to go in with this shade right here. This one is called Jelly Bean. I'm going to pick that up with a Game Beauty EO7 brush and just add a little bit of depth. I'm not going in with the darkest shade because I don't want it to take over and get too deep on me. I just want a nice soft gradient out here. So for the lower waterline, I really want to play with these greens up here. So I'm kind of thinking what I want to do is I want to put this one along my lower lash line, and then I want to pop this into my inner corner. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this shade called Lollipop. I'm going to pick that up with a Singe Beauty EO4 brush, and I'm just going to kind of fluff this along my lower lash line. I'm not going to keep it very precise. I'm not going to take it very tight. I just want to add that little pop of color down there. With a Game Beauty EO8 brush, I'm going to go into this shade called Minty, and I'm going to pop this into my inner corner. I think I want to keep a matte inner corner for this look. Yeah, that's cute. I like that. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and pop some shimmer on this lid. I have already primed my eyes with my NYX glitter primer per usual, and we have some options, but I'm kind of thinking I want to put this shade right here called Frosting all over my lid, and then maybe take Candy Floss right here and put it on the outer corner where that shimmer and that matte meet to kind of make everything mesh together really good. Yeah, okay, we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna pick up the shade Frosting with my finger. This is such a gorgeous shimmer. It's like a purple, silver, pink flip. Absolutely stunning. Love it. Okay, so I just picked up Candy Floss on my finger, and I'm gonna pop that right out here. I'm not gonna have it take over everything. I just want it to kind of smooth that transition. And there we have it, our completed look with the Delicious Delights palette. I love the way this look turned out. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It is giving me Barbie vibes, and I'm here for it. Those shimmers on the lids are so beautiful, so vibrant, shifty, just reflective and very smooth, and I'm loving that pop of mint green on my inner corner. But to finish off this look, I did go in with my Glossier #1 pencil in the shade Canvas in my lower waterline just to kind of brighten things up and give me that pop. And for my lid, I went in with my Glamlite Calligrapher liner and my Maybelline Firework Waterproof Mascara. But let's go ahead and pop over to our next look with our next palette. Up next, we have the Nomad Cosmetics Monteverde Cloud Forest palette. This one is so bright, so colorful, so fun. I think this is a lot of people's favorite palettes from the brand. It is definitely one of mine, but I think for this look, I really want to do something with like these pinks on the lid. So we're going to start there. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start with this shade right here, kind of on my outer corner, and then we're going to work from there. So that is the shade Passiflora, and I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Game Beauty EO1 brush. And I'm going to put this into like my outer corner area, bringing it about a third of the way over. Oh, look how beautiful that is. I love the mattes in this palette. The mattes in this palette are what do it for me. It's not the shimmers. They're not my favorites. They're a lot of green tones. They're not quite as creamy and reflective as I want. but they are still very pretty. But like I said, it's the mattes that do it for me. Next, I want to go into this shade right here. This is called Jaguar. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade up with a Singe Beauty EO4 brush. And I'm just going to press this one right next to that first shade that we put down, giving me a really pretty soft gradient. There's not going to be a lot of differentiation in tonal value, but there is going to be in shade. Okay, so for the inner corner, I'm going to go in with this bright yellow shade right here. This one is called Toucan. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and go in with a Singe Beauty EO2 brush, and I'm going to put this in my inner corner, and I'm going to bring it down to like the bottom, I don't know, little bitty section of my lower lash line. Like I'm going to wrap it around in here, not just leave it right here in my inner corner. So moving down to the lower lash line, I'm going to pick up this hot pink shade right here called Orchid. This is a Game Beauty EO8, and I'm just going to kind of fluff this along my whole lower lash line, kind of keeping it pretty whimsical, but I also want to pack on that color so I don't lose any of the pigmentation. So pretty. So now that I have everything down, I'm just going back over everything with like a clean, fluffy brush, just right along the edges to kind of soften it out, disperse the color a little bit. I don't want that harsh line. You can definitely have that harsh line if you want, but I like it to where it's a little bit just softer. All right, y'all, it's time for shimmers, and shimmers is usually where I kind of get stuck in this palette just because they are all very green. So unless I'm doing a look that has a lot of these greens in it, I usually pull in a shimmer from another palette. You can absolutely do that, but I do want to show you what you can create using just this palette alone. So I'm kind of deciding between this one right here, which is called Hanging Bridges, or if I want to do River Trail. This one does have like a kind of a pinky shift to it, and I think that could look really pretty. I think this one could look really pretty as well. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do both. So we're gonna do Hanging Bridges on one eye, and we're gonna do River Trail on the other eye, so you can kind of see both looks. So you're kind of getting two summer inspired looks out of this palette, but not really at the same time. But that's what we're gonna do because I can't decide and I'm not sure which one's gonna look the best. All right, so we're gonna start with Hanging Bridges. I'm just gonna pick that up on my finger. I have already put down my NYX glitter primer per usual, and I'm just gonna pop this all over. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking that that pink undertone is really gonna pick up because of the pinks and the oranges on my lid. But at the same time, I wasn't really sure if this was going to blend really nicely, but I don't think that looks half bad. Okay, I'm not mad about it. Let's put it that way. Okay, so for the other eye, I picked up the shade River Trail, which is that purple shimmer. It is the only shimmer in the palette that is not a green base shimmer, and that looks really pretty too. Yeah, okay, I'm not mad about this one either. I actually kind of like both looks. It depends on what look you're going for, but you know, if you're using this as inspiration, maybe you're creating this look with me, you can always bring in another shimmer from another palette. Like I said, that's what I normally do, but I'm trying to stick with just this. All right, y'all, so there we have it, our completed two-ish looks with the Nomad Cosmetics Monteverde Cloud Forest palette. Honestly, they both came out really pretty, but I think I like this one better over here with that green multi-chrome called Hanging Bridges. I just think it looks prettier. I think it blends better with the look. This one does look really pretty too, but side by side, I have to give it to this one. But let me show you what I used to finish up this look, and then we can jump into our final look with our final palette. So for my lower waterline, I did go in with a NYX Epic Wear liner. This is in the shade Pink Spirit. I used the same thing on both eyes. And for my lid, I went ahead and lined with my Urban Decay 24/7 inks in the shade, what is this, 0? Yes, 0, it's black. And then for mascara, I'm still testing out the Maybelline Firework waterproof mascara. I don't know why I have a hard time saying that, but I do really like the way that this turned out. Like I said, this palette is a go-to for me if I want the mattes. I generally pull in other shimmers, but they both came out beautiful and I love them. But let's move on to our final palette. All right, y'all, we're down to our final palette, final look. For this, we're going to be playing with the Sorcerer palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. This one is such a beautiful, bright color story, but the shimmers in here are so, so good. I love the shimmers in this palette. And I think what I really want to do is I want to play with like these 4 shades right here. So it's 1 matte and these 3 shimmers. And I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this shade right here, which is called Empower. And I'm going to pick that up with a big fluffy brush. This is a Morphe M504 brush. And I am just going to very, very lightly fluff this all in my crease, my outer corner, everywhere. I'm not going to pack it on. I'm not going to try and get like a huge packed on color payoff. I really just want a light wash of this color, very dispersed, very blended. All right, so I do want to throw in one more color outside this little quad. I want to take this shade right here, which is called Unleashed, and I'm going to fluff that along my lower lash line. So I'm going to go in with a Singe Beauty EO6 brush. I'm going to pick that up, and just like I did in my crease, very, very blended, whimsical, blown out, nothing precise. I just want to have like washes of these colors. I want the shimmers to be the star of the show. All right, so my lid is primed. We are ready for some sparkle and shimmer. So what I want to do is I want to have this one like all over my lid, and then I want to put this on the outer corner and this on the inner corner. So I'm going to start with this really beautiful green shimmer down here called Illusion, and I'm going to put that all over my lid, avoiding like the outer corner and the inner corner. But look at how absolutely gorgeous that shade is. So, so pretty. All right, let's go ahead and do the outer corner. So instead of going in with this shade right here, I think I actually want to go in with this one. It's a little bit deeper and I think it's just going to work better. So the shade is called Chaos. I'm going to pick that up with my finger yet again. And I'm going to put this right here on my outer corner, giving a little bit of depth and drama. And we're just going to have this really cool like gradient. All right, for the inner corner, we're gonna go in with this shade right here. This is called Arcane. So I'm gonna pick that up with a Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I am gonna spray it with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus, and I'm gonna pop this all in that inner corner right there where there's nothing going on. And then I'm gonna go back and kind of blend everything together a little bit better. All right, so I'm gonna go back with the first brush that we used with that purple shade, and I'm just gonna put it right here in the socket of my eye where the matte and the shimmer meet, and just kind of go back and forth to make sure that everything is blended and we don't have any harsh lines. All right, y'all, so there we have it, our 5th and final completed look. I really love the way this one turned out. This is probably my favorite look I have ever created with the Sorcerer palette. I'm loving the gradient of the shimmers on the lid. That green is absolutely stunning. It is giving mermaid vibes, and I'm 100% here for it. But to finish off this look, I did go in with a NYX Epic Wear liner in the shade Pink Spirit for my lower waterline. And then for my lid, I went in with my Urban Decay 24/7 Inks liquid liner in the shade 0 and my Maybelline Firework Waterproof Mascara. But let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit, and we are going to finish out this video. All right, y'all, so that is going to complete this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you a little bit of summer inspiration, whether with the color combinations, with the looks, or just to pull out some palettes that you have in your stash, play with them, use them, and show them some love. But let me know which look was your favorite. Let me know if you have any of these palettes. What are your go-to palettes for the summer? I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation. Light up that comment section, and as usual, I want to thank you all so, so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so, so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.